Hello, men. Craig here from MasculineByDesign.com. You can find me on Twitter at MasculineDesign. I've witnessed a trend among some parents today that the way they feed their children is atrocious. I mean, it's absolutely horrendous. You know, we all know about the obesity epidemic that's going on. I think something like 60% of Americans could be considered obese based on BMI, which BMI is not the best metric to use for something like that, but it is a metric and it's good enough. I mean, if it's saying that 60% of Americans are obese, then we have a problem. And something along the lines of, the last I checked, if I remember correctly, it's like 35% of children under the age of 12 are considered obese. Now, that happens not because that child lacks discipline. That happens because the parents lack discipline. Because the parents are allowing that child to eat that way. To eat crap food and to eat it in copious amounts that is leading to that child being obese, sick, unhealthy, and setting them up for a life that is going to be far less than optimal, very expensive, set a poor example for those around them, and ultimately cause them a lot of pain and suffering on their way to an early grave. That is child abuse. I know parents who have children that are 2 years old and they feed them nothing but processed carbs all day. Chips, Cheetos, Oreos, cereal, granola bars, all this stuff, because their kids know that if they dig their heels in and don't eat the green beans or the steak that their parents make for them, that their parents will give in and give them the sugary stuff that they're addicted to. That is child abuse. Now, I realize that's strong language. I'm not saying that these parents are out there willingly, intentionally trying to abuse their children. I'm just stating facts. This is what it is. This is what they are doing. They are abusing their children. They are treating them in a way that is causing them great harm. Now, one of the struggles that we have as parents, I have 3 kids. I know these situations well, where a child refuses to eat healthy food that you make for them, and then a half hour later are whining for some kind of a snack or junk food that they want to eat. So I'm no stranger to this, and I know that getting your kids to eat healthy is not the easiest thing to do, but I have had success in it. Still challenging at times, but overall my kids have a good diet. We mix in healthy foods to a regular degree. Yes, they still get treated to junk food every once in a while. So I want to talk to you this morning about how you get your kids to start eating healthy. And there's a few different ways that you do that. One, you teach them about food. You teach them about the fact of what happens to them when they continually feed their bodies with processed sugary junk. You teach them what heart disease is, what heart attacks are. You teach them what type 2 diabetes is, what insulin resistance is. Teach them what cancer is. Teach them what dementia is and Alzheimer's. These things that are directly linked to sugar intake and the chronic inflammation that comes from that. Educate them. Yeah, I've had conversations with my children about macronutrients. You know, they're 10, 8, and 7 right now. I'm sorry, 10, 8, and 6. And we've had conversations about carbs, proteins, fats, how each of them are used by the body, why they're all important, and when they're important. And they really took to that. It was really interesting to them to see how the different foods that they eat impact their bodies. We'll teach them about the junk that they eat and how that has a negative impact on their body. Educate them. Most kids get freaked out. I'm not telling you to terrify your kids, but if that's what it takes to get them to understand that they need to eat better, they get freaked out when they start hearing about cancer and heart disease and diabetes and all the pain surrounding those things and consequences. Tell them about them. Next, you need to take the lead in making sure that you are fostering an environment in which healthy food is available and that you are making that healthy food for them on a regular basis. So, what that looks like is, don't just leave them to their own devices to go into the pantry and pick out whatever they want to eat in a given day. You take the lead. Set out for them what it is you intend for them to eat. Set out some fruits. Make them some eggs. Cut up some avocado. Give them the foods that you know they need to eat to be healthy. Explain to them why it's healthy. Explain to them why this is good for them. Set the example in the way that you eat as well. If you're walking around eating Doritos all day, your children are not going to follow your words when your example does not comport. You have to set the example in the way that you are eating and caring for your body. If you tell your kids that being overweight is a problem while you're walking around 30 pounds overweight, they're likely to not listen to what you're saying. You have to lead them by example. Finally, use junk food, use those kinds of treats as rewards for behaviors that are positive. If your child does something that's in alignment with what you've been teaching them to do and you want to reward them, take them out for ice cream. Give them an Oreo. Let them have that granola bar. Let's be real here. Your kids are going to eat this stuff and they're going to be exposed to it. Giving it to them in moderation on rare occasions, that's not a problem. Would it be better for them never to have that? Sure. But you deprive them of it completely, guess what happens the next time they go to little Jimmy or Susie's house? It's going to be like a crack addict getting its first hit. So be measured in your approach. Reward your kids with sweet foods. Let them enjoy it from time to time. Now, for you who have toddlers who will refuse to eat, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. And most parents, especially mothers, don't like to hear this. If your child will not eat healthy food and they dig their heels in and they throw a temper tantrum, don't feed your child until they are ready to eat healthy foods. What? Don't feed my child? They're going to starve to death. No, they're not going to starve to death. They're going to grow hungrier and hungrier and hungrier until those eggs become something that they are enticed by, before that steak is something that they are going to eat. They're not going to die. They're not going to wither away. You let them realize that when they're hungry, that's what they're going to get to eat. I've done this with my own children, and usually after missing a meal or two, they're ready to eat whatever it is you're putting in front of them. So that's it, man. This is strategies we have to use in order to make our children be healthy. It doesn't just happen by accident, especially today when all the opportunities that exist for children to eat poorly, to eat foods that are going to be sick-inducing, cause them to be unhealthy. We have to be intentional about our strategy that we employ in order to teach our kids how to eat well, how to eat in a way that's going to allow their bodies to be healthful and to thrive. So that's all I have. You guys probably have some of your own strategies that you use in order to help your kids to understand the importance of eating healthy and lead by example in that. Share them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a subscribe here on YouTube. Just smash that button there and you'll be notified as I produce new videos here on a near daily basis. Be sure to check out the blog at masculinebydesign.com. You can sign up for my newsletter there. I actually just released a newsletter today that talks about the medical industrial complex and how it's set up to fatten the pockets of the pharmaceutical industry and the insurance companies and doctors and why you need to be very careful in navigating that environment, but also not discount it completely, because there is definitely still a lot of good that comes from the blessing of modern medicine that we need to be taking advantage of. So if you want to check that out, just go to masculinebydesign.com/newsletter. You can sign up there, and you'll be added to the list. Finally, be sure to check out the Fraternity of Excellence. We're getting together as men, 140 strong now, talking about what it means to be a good man, to be a good father, to live life optimally, to teach those who we are leading to do so as well, to hold each other accountable in this, and to build each other up. This is a group of men who are driven, who are ambitious. It wasn't intended to be a mastermind, but that's really what it's been, what it's become. It's just a group of men who are adding value to each other in insane ways, to an insane degree. I mean, guys in there, their lives are transforming before our very eyes. It's fantastic to see, and that's what happens when men get together with other men. So if you don't have that in your life, you want to check what we're doing out inside of the Fraternity of Excellence, you can do that by going to fraternityofexcellence.com. So that's all I have for today, brothers. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. And until next time, this is Craig James. I am out.